Hi, Alexa. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to be talking to you about this whole situation going on. I feel like you need to be able to have the chance to go and tell everyone what's really happened in your experiences because we've got the media and a book that is pushing a narrative. I've got my copy right here.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
how long it'll be like in existence, but um I just wanted to have you on today because I know we're like friendly with each other, and it would be an awesome opportunity for you just to kind of like clear the air and just to walk through some of the things that have happened on your time on Zoe 101 and just like in the past few months with this whole like book that's come about because I feel like it's been really random and kind of uncalled for. So, when it comes to your relationship with Jamie Lynn, you guys have been pretty cordial, I guess. I mean, we know that you unfollowed and everything at some point, but you guys were generally civil for some time, right?
Yes. Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. This is such an honor. I honestly like adore you. So
Oh
thank
my
you so much
gosh.
for having me. But yes, no, we were I thought we were okay because she apologized to me and I thought, okay, this is the first time I've received an apology. And I think I was like 6 months or 8 months pregnant at the time. So I was in this like state of mind where I was like, I don't want any drama. I just want to
Yeah.
be calm. I want to focus on, my baby and focus on building a family. And so when she apologized to me, I forgave her. And even though I had some reservations about it, just because I felt it took her a while to reach out to me. It also took her
Yeah.
many years to reach out to me. And I was a little bit hesitant about, just openly forgiving her. But I just thought, okay, if she's going to go out of her way and, there is a possibility she's being genuine, then, it's my duty to accept the apology and move forward. But that's not what it
That's not, and also just I know it like how it feels. Like it feels good to get like to
Yes.
move past that, to get an apology. Like I understand because like sometimes I don't fully forgive people and it's like,
No, me too.
but it feels better to just move on, you
It
know?
does. And it's also just nice to hear someone say, like, I'm sorry. And I
Yeah.
validate your experience, your feelings, and I see you. It's like you feel
Mhm.
like seen. So it's just this nice human experience where you're like, okay, I'm seen and this is really nice and I can just move on from this. So that was originally how I took it. And then it just kind of
Yeah. Yeah, she
it
took a
kind of
little accountability and then it just yeah,
it just
switched
went off the
gears.
cliff. It went off the cliff. I was so confused because all of a sudden, she wanted to send my baby a gift. And, I was like, oh, I'm not going to reject the gift. Like
Yeah.
she's really trying to make amends. Okay. And
Did you
also
get the gift?
I got the gift.
Was it a good gift?
It was a good actually, it was a very beautiful gift. It was
Okay.
like it was well done. It was like little Peter Rabbit, and
Cute.
there was a little thing with flowers, and it was a very cute gift. And I was like, I was actually surprised how nice it was. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is so sweet. And then I was like, I'm not gonna post this on Instagram because usually if someone gives me a gift or something, I'll like
Yeah.
post it, but I felt weird about doing that because I was a little bit afraid that she was doing that for me to do that.
Mm.
And so I was like, I'm not going to give her the valid.
Like
I'm
the
not
brownie
going
points, yeah.
yeah, no, I'm just going to take it for myself, make it like a one-on-one experience. And I don't need to tell the whole world, some things are private and it should be. So
Yeah.
I just accepted it. I liked it. And then but I did feel a little bit strange about it. So I was like, why now? And
Mhm.
what's it about? And then when she asked me to be in the music video, that was all
Yeah.
in the apology. So the apology and asking me to be in the music video was
Oh, no.
I'm not kidding you. It was like
She was
all
just trying to get you on there and, like, gave you the apology, so, like, "Hi, like, wanna join?" Because also it probably would've made the reboot seem a little bit more legitimate.
Yes. And also it would have made her feel less, called out. I feel like if she felt like she, fixed whatever happened, that people would feel more comfortable about the reboot, which I don't even know what that thing was, to be honest with you. I called it a ploy just because I don't know. I
Yeah.
honestly just felt like, what is this and what's happening? And it doesn't seem necessarily legitimate. So
Yeah.
I declined it because I was like, I don't want to do something public. If you're gonna say you're sorry, that's enough for me. Like I don't need
Mhm.
to. And with Zoe 101, I've moved on from that. So
Mhm.
I didn't want to go backwards. Even though it did hurt me that that they didn't invite me to the reunion just because it was triggering.
Yeah.
but still I might have not have gone, but I wanted to be at least invited
Mhm.
or seen. And also someone say, I'm sorry about how, we treated you all those years. But
Yeah, it's like the isolation you experienced back then is just happening
yes.
again in adulthood. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
a
I
complete reminder of it all.
was like, we're almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like, we're old. I was like, I'm a mom. Like, well, I wasn't a mom then, but like,
Yeah.
I felt old. Like, I was divorced, and I'm like, how is this still happening? How are we still? It was just like a bad Twilight Zone
Uh,
episode. I was like, this is bizarre. And then Dan Schneider, I was just like, what's going on?
yeah.
Once I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that I.
Yeah, I got out of there.
But I was like, I'm glad. I didn't know he was even involved in that. I was like, I'm out. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
gone. If I would have walked in and then saw, I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah, like run.
Oh yeah. I would 100% run. But yeah, so that was that was that. That was the
Yeah. So when it comes to okay, let's talk a little bit more recently. So, Brittany unfollowed Jamie Lynn on Instagram, and around that time, she didn't she reach out to you or write
Yeah.
about this kind of like book a little bit or
Okay. So this is, I've had some experiences in the past with untrustworthy people, and they always tend to do things around dates. Like
Mm,
there's like a plan. If you start to look at the dates of things, you're like, oh, that's kind of bizarre that it just lined up perfectly with this and lined up perfectly with that. And so I've become pretty aware of that as I'm getting older. And so when she reached out to me, she like sent me a text message just saying that she wanted to send me something, and if I still had the same mailing address. I was like, that's kind of weird. Why? I just kind of
yeah.
asked the question. And especially after I unfollowed her, specifically because once I was hearing everything that Britney Spears was saying, even though I had my own traumatic experience, with
Mhm.
Brittany, what's when something's wrong, it's wrong. I don't care what necessarily happened with my personal relationship with them per se. If something is wrong and someone is speaking up about it and wants justice or wants to be heard, like I'm all about that
Mhm.
regardless of my relationship with them. It's like a non-biased thing. It's like that's wrong. I see that enough evidence for me to understand it.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. So I unfollowed her. So I thought that was kind of strange that she was reaching out. And then I just Googled her. I was just like, what's going on? It's
Yeah.
living the life over there. And I saw that Brittany unfollowed her like the day before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of weird. Yet again, she's reaching out to me during a time that's not making her look good. And
Mhm.
she's, again, I feel, trying to make herself look good and hoping that maybe if, whatever it is that she's sending, I'm going to post it or, people are going to hear about it, whatever. So
Yeah.
I was afraid to message her back the way that I ended up
And
messaging her.
this over text message or like
No, it's
Instagram or what? Text?
not.
Okay.
This is text, and she like changed her number recently and sent me her new phone number, and I was just like, okay. But then I look at my husband and I was like, by the way, when she messaged me on her new phone number, I had her like valid like prove that it was her.
Oh, really?
I was scared, when someone, I don't know who they are, and they're just,
Yeah.
I have a new number. I was like, tell me, like, I gave her like a question to, like, that only her and I would know. But
Yeah.
so I looked at my husband, I was like, I really don't want this person contacting me anymore. I really want her to stop because
Yeah.
she's I she's the kind of person that in my relationship with her, it makes me doubt my own reality. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm feeling one way and but then
Oh,
you're showing me a different,
manipulation.
totally.
You're
And
describing manipulation.
absolutely. And in your gut, you're like red flag, red flag, red flag. And I was still scared because I'm still that person where I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I have to like hold on to the chair.
Yeah.
And he was like, just do it. And so I was like, please, please do not contact me ever again and do not send me anything or whatever. And I was
Uh,
so scared to do that. And I hit send and I was like waiting. It was like suspenseful.
uh,
And then she sent me a message back and she was like, I'm so sorry if they already sent it, there's nothing I can do or whatever, but I'll try to get them to not. And that's what made me think recently, over the last couple of hours actually, that maybe she was trying to send me her book. And I
mhm.
was like, no, there's no way that you would just send me your book that where you lie about me and I have to read it. And especially
Like,
after, like, especially
yeah,
after
as a
like,
gift. Like,
yeah, like, and that's a gift. Like,
yeah.
what? I didn't ask for this. Like, I'm not asking for your book. Like, I don't want the book.
Mhm.
Also, I just thought the book was just, what a weird timing.
I know, and the title changed, like, 3 times,
It
like,
did?
it's yeah, it was originally a Britney Spears lyric, like, it was
No, it wasn't.
maybe it was "Oops, I Did It Again" was the title of the book originally, or it was something along those lines, yeah, and Britney, like, called her out for it, so she had to change it, and it was, like, my story, and then it ended up being things I should have said, so, the publishers probably went through a lot going through to get this.
Yeah, no, they're probably like, what is this book? What's going on? This is probably the strangest book they've dealt with in their publishing experience. That's
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mhm, no,
Well,
it's been messy.
that was something. I mean, when I heard that she was coming out with a book, uh, I was like, this is kind of again, dates. Like when things
Yeah,
line up like that, you're like, why now? What?
exactly.
And why can't you just speak up or tell the things that you should be saying freely? Like, I don't know, when you're supposed I don't know, especially with family, like if my family member was in a situation like that, which I can't imagine what that's like personally,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't need a book. I would just be out there like in the trenches, like
Yeah.
how do I help this person? And like openly, I'm pretty honest and outspoken on my Instagram. I would be like, trying to get people to
Exactly.
rally with me. I would be totally different.
And she, like, never even uttered the words "Free Britney," never would. It's because it goes against her management team who she's oh so close with, but, so
I
let's
don't
talk a little bit about the book.
Yeah, let's okay.
Um, okay, so, like,
I don't
she
even know
starts
most, but I saw a little bit and then I was like,
yeah, I know. It was yeah, it I wonder, like, who honestly, like, wrote it. I mean, obviously, she didn't just sit there writing, like, everyone has, like, a little support system, so,
for sure,
um
for sure.
so she's got someone to consult with. So she started talking about like season one and just like, becoming close friends with Kristen and with you. And on the weekends, you guys would have sleepovers and go to the beach and the mall and hang out. Would those things happen? Like, would you guys go and have sleepovers and go to the beach and the mall and all that?
No!
Oh my God, what?
First of all, I at that age, I wish that was what was happening.
Yeah.
But that was we had one sleepover that felt, I think I mentioned it in my life. There was like one time that her, me, and Dana like
Hmm.
got together and had a sleepover, and I feel like I don't know what mom orchestrated that, but it was at Herrera's place,
Yeah.
and it was all three of us. And I remember, seeing that there was like a very strong bond
Yeah.
between them more so. And I just thought in my head, I was like, oh, she's a little bit older than me. And, Jamie is also 1 year older than me. And that's probably why they're, so close. And I'm like this younger, kind of bubbly, like, I
Yeah.
was. I was definitely made fun of for being too nice or too smiley or whatever, which I still sometimes definitely am. But I didn't take it. I wasn't jealous or anything. I was just like, oh, I'm young. I felt insecure more so.
Yeah, and you're literally 12 years old. You're in a position that not a lot of kids are in where you're, like, in this working environment. Like, I
No,
feel like anything you're feeling at that time is pretty much justified by the fact that you're just a child.
a child. Yeah, I don't even remember all the thoughts that were, it was so long ago too that I don't remember. But I just, I felt a little bit insecure about being so young and wanting to be friends so badly because that's just my personality type. But
Mhm.
other than that, we had no sleepovers. There were, and
Yeah.
wait, didn't she say that we became close friends fast or something?
Yes, fast.
No, no.
No.
That is an absolute lie. Like 100% a lie.
Like, it wasn't like first episode besties, like
No.
yeah.
Never, and fast would never be the term that I would use. She was extreme. Also, she was very shy. Just her personality then, like
Mhm.
that's how I perceived
Remember
her. It was
her?
just like a
Yeah.
very reserved, shy person. I was like, well, having your sister like that, I understand. Like, I couldn't imagine what I would have been like in a situation like that. Who do you trust? Who wants to be friends with you for who you actually are? I understand those layers. And I even understood them that young. I was like, wow, that must be crazy having, Britney Spears as your sister. And you're trying to just be your own person, and like, how do you do that? I understood that, and so I just thought she was just shy, but she was very distant. So that's why I definitely don't understand fast. It was not fast. It was never. It was just never.
Yeah, like where did fast come from?
I have no idea.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who wrote
It probably I know who wrote that. Like who knows?
Yeah, like who even really knows? I don't know. That's not true.
Yeah. So later on, like so as Jamie Lynn continued in her book,
Mhm.
she said that there were rumors about her being mean or maybe bitchy. And then at one point in the book, she like credits you for making those rumors. Um, I was gonna say, like, personally, like, I feel like if it happened, it happened. It's fine. Literally, you were 12 years
Yes,
old. But like
absolutely.
when you were reading this, like, what are your immediate thoughts? Like, do you kind of remember? I mean, also if she was mean and
I
you said
literally
it, like,
screamed "What the out loud to be.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, I can't say that. I WTF. I was literally just I couldn't believe. I was like, what? That never happened.
hmm
No one ever even came up to me or rumored or told me that I was making up rumors about her. So
yeah,
I never heard that before. I didn't know what she was talking about. Um, it was just totally random. And it was the first time that I've ever heard that explanation, or that I've never heard that before. It was the first
that
time.
is so just like, and
Weird.
it's crazy because she's
It's
like
really weird.
that's your character that she's like describing here, claiming that you're over here like in the workplace calling her mean and bitchy. I mean, being 12 or
But first
whatever.
of all, she was being mean. Okay,
Yeah.
so like that's the thing. Like she was being mean, and but I wasn't even saying that. So
Yeah.
how I was always like, why isn't Jamie? Why doesn't she like me?
Yeah.
Why won't she sit with me at lunch? Or why aren't I invited to hang out with her? Or how come she never reaches out to me or says hello to me? These were the feelings that I felt, but it wasn't like she's mean. She's,
Yeah. Like
what
gossipy and all
no,
that.
I didn't even know how to gossip then. I
Yeah.
honestly was the most um I don't know. When I look back at me at 12 years old,
You're like super innocent, just like yeah.
I was too nice. Like I really, for a lot of my life too, was just like being, giving people the benefit of the doubt, and then, thinking maybe something's my fault when it isn't. And that was kind of my patterning that I had to, really
Yeah.
learn the hard way
Learn
as I
your
got older.
lessons.
Yeah, totally. But that I never heard that. And this is interesting to me, because it's interesting that she said all of that and said that people were giving her this information, but she didn't name them.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of weird, because first of all, if you're going to talk about me and you're going to talk about your sister so blatantly and say all these things, like, why not just throw in there who it was that was, telling you that I was saying these things about you? And there's only two reasons why she wouldn't. One, it's a lie. So she doesn't want to be called out on more lies, because if she mentions another person, now that other person's going to be like, I never said that, and then she's in a really weird situation. Or two, someone did maybe say that to her, and she's still close with them and doesn't want to, necessarily rock that boat. Because the only person that I could think making up that ridiculous rumor, like smelling bad and lice, which I've never
Yeah.
said in my life, I swear I've never said that, is, Victoria. So that's the only person who I could think of, just because they were bullying me during that time
Yeah.
period, and she was a close friend of mine, and ended up not being so trustworthy. So it's like, if that is the truth, then someone's lying to you, or you're lying about the lie.
Yeah, and literally your her book, and it's like there's a
Yeah,
few pages where it's just like it is weird because it's just like jabs at you opposed to
yeah,
like where's the other gaps? I mean, just getting into the part where she brings your mother into it. I mean, it's pretty
that's what
brief,
really upset me.
but yeah, like tell me what you thought about that. So just for context for everyone else, like pretty much Jimmy Lynn said that the way that Alexa's mother would walk around on set as if she owned it and excuse me, still got the post COVID. And how she would whisper in Alexa's ear, just like made it all super uncomfortable. So when you read that she was bringing your mom into this, it's like just
That's what
jab after
really deeply
jab.
upset
Hmm
me. that's what made me post what I ended up posting. To be honest, I was like, oh, whatever, if you want to keep this up, and I don't need to really talk about this. But when I saw my mom, who's, you know, in her mid 60s now and doesn't have an easy life, you know, she's doing her thing and trying to make things work, and she's still working in her mid 60s and doing her thing, and I like respect her more than anyone in my mom my mom is the most, like, I learned all this bubbliness from my mom, and she's just one of the most approachable people I've ever met. And my mom definitely never walked around. First of all, no one owns the set. So no one owns a set, and if anyone does, it's the person who's the lead on the show. And Jamie and her mom were more like that than anybody else. That's how I saw it, or I remember it. You know, she never really sat with any of the moms. The moms would hang out, but Jamie's mom never really did. The first AD was basically in the back pockets of the Spears family, and they definitely ran the whole, you know, show and behind the scenes. So hearing that about my mom, I was like, that is
it's like your mom ran it, not my mom, right? It's like
100%. It's like your mom was the one running it. My mom was just trying to like be happy for her daughter being on a show and, you know, whatever. But I was very upset about that because my mom doesn't have like a public voice. So she can't, you know, go and defend herself in the same way. And so I was like, it's definitely my duty, because my mom was a single mom my whole life. And she sacrificed everything for me. So once I read that, I was like, it's my duty to go out there and defend her, because my mom did nothing wrong. And also my mom does not whisper in my ear.
It's just like trying to add like another like characteristic to make
Mean
your
girl.
literally. And so how did your mom feel? Like, so obviously this all just kind of happened recently. Like, how did she feel that Jamie Lynn brought her up in the book?
My mom just drove in from Vegas, and I had to tell her it while she was driving. And if you only heard the audio messages,
oh no,
my mom just like, what the bleep? What we shot? She was just horrified and upset. And you can hear that she was hurt by it, because she also, it's like this doubting of the reality that is concerning, because that's what I personally don't like about what I read, is because it's not reality. You know, you're looking at it and you're like, we both lived this same thing. And why do you have this completely different perspective and experience, all in all, about what happens? And it isn't the truth. And why are you writing this down? So for my mom, she was also just couldn't understand where she was getting that kind of, you know, perspective or memory of it, because it was just so not at all what happened. And then when I saw that something about me wanting to be, or my mom wanting me to be the lead on the show, that first of all, no. That never happened. My mom, the other moms did talk about that. Like, I do remember other parents talking about a spinoff. I remember hearing that when I was younger, like eating lunch, and I remember one of the moms was talking about it, but I don't really remember what mom, but I do remember people talking about this spinoff, but not the show in itself, like to get somebody kicked off of it. First of all, you can't even do that. Like, that's, you can't, it's her show, and everyone did respect. I didn't see anyone disrespecting that ever. And everyone very much understood it was her show, and you know, in the beginning, happy to be a part of it and share that with her. So that was just really strange to me.
But I do want to talk about the situation with Brittany. So just for people who may not know, there was a rumor that Alexa was telling everybody about Jamie Lynn and her lice, which just sounds so dramatic.
Wait, lice? Oh,
having
my
lice,
God.
right? Yeah. So she,
yes.
And so she claims the situation made her emotional, and she went to her sister Brittany for support. So do you remember back being on the show and like hearing the rumor about the lice, or was there lice, or like what is?
First of all, no lice. There was no one got any lice. I don't even think I've ever gotten lice. But no, there was no lice. I never heard that rumor. I have
Yeah.
no idea. It's almost like an old person's trying to write about like teenage drama, and they're like, "What do teenagers like talk smack about? Like lice and smelling bad." It's like, okay, first of all, this sounds like a horrible novel. Like there is no lice. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, but it also that's like how she's setting the scene up for being like, okay, so that's why she
So
had Brittany come and
that's
well,
what she's saying.
and the bullying, yeah. So
Oh man.
yeah, it's pretty yeah, it's pretty sad. But so she wanted to I guess Brittany was pregnant at this point and she sent a PA to come and get you for that moment where you and Brittany chatted. So
Yeah,
when
I
the
lied to my mom.
yeah, so when the PA came to you, do you remember that interaction? Like what did they say to you? What did they say that Brittany needed you for?
No, they didn't say Brittany needed me.
Oh, okay.
He came, knocked on the door, which usually always happens, and they bring you to like makeup and hair, or they bring you to set. And so
Mhm.
he knocked on the door, and I remember my mom answered, and Ian was like, his name's Ian. I hope he hears me. His name's Ian. I forgot his last name, but his name's Mr. Ian. He knocked. My mom was like, yes, and he goes, Alexa's needed in makeup and hair. Normal, nothing
Yeah.
weird about that. So my mom says, go ahead. You know, that happened a lot because it's only 2 trailers down. So, and he would take me. So while we were walking, he goes, oh, wait. Like, oh, I just remembered.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Brittany, I mean, no, not Brittany. Jamie would like to speak to you and Brittany in the trailer. And I was like, oh, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great because maybe they want, you know, have a good conversation finally. And, you know, we're actually going to talk. I thought,
Mhm.
but I was still a little bit nervous. And then I remember going in and Jamie running, you know, to the back of the trailer and knowing something's not good, you know,
Yeah.
and then when she started yelling at me, which I've spoken about,
Mhm.
and threatening my career, it was like she was my idol, you know, at
Yeah.
that time. And I had everything Britney Spears when I was younger, and you know, I looked up to her. And so it was just the most scary experience for at that age, especially where it's just this older person who you respect and admire,
Very
and she
popular and powerful.
yeah, and powerful power dynamics are not good in this situation. And
Yeah.
I'm a minor, and it's like I have no parents, and my mom doesn't even know where I am. You know, I'm supposed to be in makeup and hair, and it was just like I threw up. You know, so it
Mhm.
was just extremely overwhelming, and I couldn't even go on set. And what was about it, sorry, bleep bleep or whatever, it was that, you know, Jamie ran to the back of the trailer. And I'll never forget that just because I feel like that's a consistent pattern with her.
Yeah.
She kind of, you know, hides away when, you know, she doesn't want to necessarily do the thing, and then, you know, comes forward when it's something that kind of benefits her.
Yeah. And it's like she could have just been like gaslighting Brittany into thinking like, "Oh,
Oh,
you're
yes.
so horrible." And then as soon as like you come into the room, it's like of course she doesn't want to be in the middle of those two because she's like got Brittany so mad now riled up. She's got you
Yes.
who's going to be like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" So it's like she
Yeah.
removes herself just to like watch the,
Mhm.
bomb go off and just kind of like enjoy it, I guess.
And pretty much. And honestly, when I look back and now knowing everything that, you know, she was bringing, I still obviously, we can't know everything she was personally going through, but now
Mhm.
that she's spoken out and we get a glimpse into that, now I really understand what was probably going on there. And that was
Mhm.
probably, you know, Jamie giving her a bunch of lies about whatever. And, you know, she was feeling like she was protecting her sister, even though it's not the right way to do it. And I would never advise anyone to do it in that way because it's
Yeah.
extremely traumatizing. I do at least understand the pressure and what she was going through on, you know, the background of her life and why she could pop off like that. Like
Yeah.
it's hard. Life is very hard, and we make mistakes, and like I understand that. So yeah,
Mhm. It
that
doesn't ever make it okay,
no
like,
ever.
that Brittany did that, but it's, like, mature of you to just, like, understand the situation and to, like, at least assess that, like, okay, she's probably not, like, an evil person, it's just that, like, literally, we had, like, factors like Jamie Lynn and probably,
Yes.
like I mean, you see how Brittany's talking about Jamie Lynn nowadays. I don't think
Oh
they've
yeah.
ever been like how I don't know if you have siblings, but like how I would be with my siblings. I just don't think that they have ever had that type of relationship, and it's probably
Um,
always kind of been this weird like power band, like
yes.
balance and manipulation, and just
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what's weird, when your sister is someone, that, famous and that well known, and then you're trying to do your own thing and you feel like you're maybe in the shadows of that. And
Hmm.
that's a complicated family dynamic. Like families are already complicated. That puts a whole new layer onto it. So that was my personal thought on what happened in the trailer that day.
Yeah. So then when it comes to just her book in general, is there anything else that's really just like kind of unsettling to you off the top of your mind, or just like I feel like it's kind of like I don't know, it's just like it's so crappy that she's doing this because it's like just painting your character in a certain light and trying
Yeah.
to rewrite history, and it's just like obviously this wasn't an easy thing for you from the jump. So
No.
how are you, I guess like I think you're obviously like you're emotionally like mature, and I think that you like aren't like so torn up over this because you've already gone through so much, but it's got to be like bothering you some bit, yes?
Oh, it definitely upset. I was very
Like ruined your
like,
day yesterday type.
yes, yes. Like I was upset. I've already dealt with so much in my life.
Mhm.
Not saying that mine's like more important or anything like that. I just have experienced a lot of shitty, sad things in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to really turn my life into a new this kind of thing. And so when that happened, it just felt like someone again is sucking me into, having to defend myself or
Mhm.
having to, revalidate my reality. And it's just a very triggering. It's not a good feeling when you know that how something happened and someone else is saying it happened like this. It's a shit
Yeah.
of gaslighting. That is what gaslighting is. And it's scary because you don't think people are like that. And then you
Mhm.
realize, oh, wait, no, no, it's actually a thing. And people are like that. And it's just heartbreaking because you're still torn. I even, or smelling bad. And I even had to, did anyone ever come up to me and I had to really still think about it, even though I knew that never, ever, ever happened, but I still doubted myself, and that's just like the horrible feeling about when someone's lying is, if you're not the liar, then you still doubt, you shouldn't be the one doubting yourself, but you're the
Mhm.
one still doubting yourself. And you're like, this is not. And just her mentioning my mom really heartbreaking. Is just stands out to me as so weird because if this was something that agitated you to be the person that you were while we were on set, then why wouldn't you have told me that? Like, why wouldn't you have said, oh, I was heard this from this person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it would have just you know, I would have been like, oh my God, I never said that. And who said that? And let's fix this. But that she chose to not tell me and instead to publicly, you know, shame me basically and lie about me for money.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. It's like, oh, if I don't tell Alexa, like it will be like a surprise. And then she'll even have to read the book and find out, you know? It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to find out your lies through a book. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. Like,
Yeah, you're pretty early on in it, and it's just like, again, so uncalled for. And I can't believe that she would again like try to send it to you. Is she ever going to bring it up? And you did make that post on Instagram, and someone told me that she liked it. Did you see that she liked it?
I saw that, but I couldn't see it on mine, but I saw that someone snapshotted it and she did. Which why
Yeah.
does she do that? Why does she like things that are I don't get that. This is what I mean by toxic.
Yeah.
Because then you start questioning, like, why is she liking this? Like, you know, like, who cares? Like, just stop doing what you're doing. Like, just please, for the love of God, like, just go. I would just want to go vacation and just
Yeah.
go figure out what's going on with me because it's so deep. It's like, why like also the post? Like, what is that? I did text her. I was upset. So I sent her one text message and I said, you're a phony. But I
Jeez. And she didn't reply, right?
so she blocked me.
Oh, like on text message?
Blocked me. That's
Oh
okay.
my
I
god.
wanted to like. I was like, okay, you know, this is annoying that I'm having to do this publicly, but I would also like to have a conversation, maybe possibly one on one, so that I'm not just that person who's going over here and not addressing
Mhm.
it over here. And so, you know, I was upset, but I was like, you're a phony. And then I went to go send her another thing, and she, you know, I couldn't send it through. So I realized
Yeah.
I was like, finally. Well, and also unfollow me, please, for the love of like, why are you following somebody that you lie about? You
Oh, I hope it's
know, this is terrifying. I'm really hoping that she just leaves me alone. And also, I just want her to source of this information
Yeah.
because if you remember it, you definitely remember who told you. So
Mhm.
why not mention, you know, why not mention them? Like, that's just there.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Maybe
I'll
they
wait.
were on maybe they were in the music video. And just to
Oh,
touch on that again, so like that's something
true.
that when you were presented with that like opportunity, or when it was at least brought up to you, was it presented as like a music video to possibly reboot the show? Was that your understanding?
Should I look? Hold on.
You can
Maybe
look.
I should look exactly how so that I don't say this. I don't even have her added in my phone, so I have to like go through.
Oh
Wait,
no.
it's right
Well,
here.
take your
Okay,
time,
wait.
no
I want
rush.
to check for your mailing address. Okay, that's fine. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it was lengthy.
Oh.
Um, okay. Oh yeah, then she had to move the music video. So where was it? Um, Here we go. Yeah, it was all in the same message. We are shooting a music video for the theme song remix the week of September 14th in LA with the cast, plus a lot of fun cameos. It's like you really sold me there. But so oh yeah, and keep this a secret. This is something you would like to be a part of. Please let me know so we can add you to all the conversations going forward. Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
she wasn't talking about necessarily a reboot here.
Yeah,
It
it was
was,
kind of like a remix of the song.
yeah, but it was like kind of like PR for the reboot, you know,
Mhm.
whatever was going on over there. But what's so weird was, you know, not to, I don't want this to sound like, I don't know, I don't want to sound strange when I say this, but if you're going to have someone work or like go and do something, like, is
Mhm.
there going to be a monetary, you know, exchange? Like, are you just asking people to do this for free? You
Yeah.
know, for free? Like, even though, like, I understand I've done things for people that I love for free, especially with their passion projects, whatever, totally get it. But I found that to be a weird, vague, you know, it wasn't like a contract or anything.
Yeah.
where is this going? And do I have a say in what, it just was so vague and just like show up on September, whatever, and do this thing. Like, I'm like, like I want to do, like, I want to go back there,
Yeah.
which
No.
is just, ridiculous. So yeah, she didn't mention it being a reboot, but I do remember other cast
But,
members.
like, the society kind of interpreted it as that,
Totally.
like,
Well,
fans
she
did
was
too.
basically hinting at that.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's because, I mean, my personal opinion, I mean, you would only do that unless you're trying to get people to start giving you offers.
Mhm.
You're creating your own buzz. It's like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Create your own buzz, and then you try and get what it is that you want out of that buzz. And that's what it seemed like she was doing. Never could know. I'm not her, but
Yeah.
that's the vibe. That's that red flag again, where you're just like,
Yeah.
something's not feeling right. But
Well, and there were, like, talk of, like, her daughter being in the show and stuff too, which,
yeah, that's
um
very weird.
yeah, and I mean, she was in the remix situation, so I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Was she in the I don't even remember her being in that.
Yeah, she was, like, briefly in it. It was just and also, like, I mean, Lynn was in it too, her mother. So
Oh,
it was
that's
just kinda
right.
like a lot of cameos in that
Yeah,
in that
the
remix.
cameo. She was really trying to sell the cameos. It was like
Uh, it was a weird crowd, honestly. Most
it was
random
the
crowd.
weirdest video I've ever seen. Sorry.
It was truly the scooters and stuff, like, I'm glad you weren't in that because they would have had you looking just dumb along with
I
everyone else.
know. Well, I knew that right away. That's why I was like, I'm definitely not gonna be there
Yeah, like,
because
it's like iCarly did really well with their reboot, and, like,
definitely
I feel like you need to, like, I don't know, it obviously, they didn't
gotta
have the
be
iCarly backing, like, the Paramount Plus backing, so
right. And that was like a rogue. They're doing some rogue. I don't know what's going on over there, but it's very rogue. I was like
Yeah,
watching and I couldn't. No offense, like I don't know. I feel like I can say that just being honest. Like it
yeah,
was just the most ridiculous video I've ever seen. What were they all doing? You're just
mhm,
like everyone's almost 30 now. Like let's what? And I understand having fun with your friends, and I get it, but it was a weird video.
it's also, like it's
Weird,
I do feel like it was something personal for her to try to, like, get at back out there and get a show or
right?
something because it's like it wasn't I'm sure, like, no one else I mean, I remember watching an interview of, like, even, like, Chris, and he was like, didn't know what was the future, with the show or with anything, it just seemed like a quick, like, one-off, like,
Mhm.
little thing for her to add to her, IMBD whatever page, and
Yeah,
then
or
maybe get offers. Yeah.
that's honestly what it felt like to me. And then I was like, you're gonna use me in this? Like this doesn't you never cared about me. And now I found sorry, excuse my phone.
You're
But
good.
now I also know you were like sitting there lying about me. Why would you invite I don't know how these people I honestly tell my mom this. I don't know how they sleep. I
Uh,
get stressed out about little things that I'm like, if my husband's like, you hurt my feelings earlier, being a parent, whatever.
yeah.
I'm lying in bed like, I need to fix myself,
Yeah.
Like small things. I don't know how people I don't know.
The
I
guilt, exactly, like, 'cause
the
I
guilt.
know. They don't experience it, I guess.
No, they can't because
They
if they did, you can't do that. Like if
yeah.
you have feelings, this sounds so messed up. But I'm not saying she doesn't have feelings, but it almost feels that way. Because like when you have feelings, you feel yourself, you feel the other person, it's like feelings. Where are the feelings?
Where are they?
Where are the feelings? Oh, but that was something I wanted to mention, like with Paul Butcher, though.
I was about to ask.
Okay, I wanted to just say this. I don't know if I even said this in the live, but the last episode that I did,
Uh-huh.
what was it? Was it the spring? What was the one where we're at the beach? I'm even blanking on this, but we were like at the beach. We go from the school to the beach and we get stranded.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, I forget. I feel like it was like a Nickelodeon special that week. All the producers came with these like razor scooters and
Mhm.
gave them to the kids. And I saw Paul, little Paul, running around giving invitations. I don't even remember if he had them physically or if he was saying it verbally loud. I can't remember that. But I remember him telling everybody that he was having a rap party. And I was like, oh, wow. So I'm like waiting at the end at my scooter and I'm waiting. And then I see Paul and then he looks at me and he's like, I'm not
Oh,
kidding.
no.
He's like, and just like runs off. And I was like, that is the most messed up. I remember crying. I was crying, crying, crying. But it was just so interesting because I never heard from Victoria. Well, I figured that. But
Yeah.
I did hear from Chris Massey, and I did hear from Sean.
Mhm.
And Sean, always had a relationship with, like, he was a friend of mine. So I wasn't too surprised by that.
Yeah.
But nobody else, ever reached out to me. So it's even shocking that I wish Jamie just didn't even say anything.
Yeah, it's weird that you're such a big part of this for her out of her Zoe 101 experience, like, compared to everything else that she did with it. Like, this was I feel like that was the biggest story was, like, your part. Like, 3 and
And
a
it
half
wasn't
pages.
even true. I
I
wish it
know.
was true. Like, I wish she was like, now looking back, teenage, whatever, like having
Yeah.
a self-reflective moment about whatever. Because it's fine. It's not fine what happened, but there's a way to, make amends. There is a way to fix time. There really is.
Mhm.
And she didn't do that. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why
Well, the
just
way she wrote about it seems like she's not over it.
no?
Like, you know what I mean? Which is so weird. It's like you are literally, again, like a 30-year-old woman, and
You're not over it.
you're still like saying that like Alexa is this bull. It's almost like active. It's like
It
an
was also, she was not bullied. I was bullied,
yeah.
like, relentlessly by her, by, is it Kirsten or Kristen? I don't even remember.
Hi, Kristen?
Herrera. Okay, right? That's her
Is
last
it?
name?
It could if it's not. Maybe it's Kristen, but I don't know.
I don't
I wrote
remember.
down Kristen,
God, I'm like getting that old where I'm like, who, what? What's my
blocking it
name?
out.
Yeah, what's my name? But her and, Victoria, it was like horrible. It was Mean Girls, It just like truly was that. And it was my
Hmm.
first experience of that. And it's just I really just wish that she could understand she's not telling the truth. Or
Yeah.
does she know? I'm like, does she
Yeah, like
believe
she's
her own
convinced
lie?
herself.
That'd be
Yeah,
so
that's what's even scarier when they convince themselves that it's truth now.
That's horrible. I am praying for her that is not, like,
The case.
the case.
Yeah.
I remember there was one thing that I kinda, like, regretted that I, did. I remember the TMZ was outside, like, a sushi place I was going to, and
Hmm.
I think I was so, uh, surprised by the whole thing and not even knowing how I was like, I think I was, like, 15 years old or something when that
Hmm.
happened. I forgot what I said, but I remember just kind of being like, "Whoa," having a kid, at and I honestly don't feel that way now. Like,
Hmm.
I think anyone who now is a mom, like, it's one of the most incredible and also hardest, experiences of your
Yeah.
life, and it's honorable. It doesn't matter, what age you get into that
It was a
situation.
different time back then
It
though, too.
was.
People didn't have that mentality. It was, like,
No.
before, like, the teen pregnancy was, like, popular on TV and stuff. Like, people were shameful to teens who would get pregnant.
Misogyny. It was just
Yeah.
like straight up the patriarchy. They're like, we want to get you pregnant, but we want to shame you if you do, kind of thing. And
Mhm.
you're like, oh God, not this. But then I didn't really know that, and I didn't really know if I would have said that now. I just wouldn't have. That's the one thing I can
Yeah.
think of where I'm like, that wasn't my best, moment. That was like 15 years old, and I also was still upset with her about, what I experienced. But
Yeah. So, when it comes to just your time on Zoe 1 and, like, 101 in general, like, did you just working there as a young star, did you feel just like when you look back on it, do you look at it like super negatively or was it like an okay experience? Like I feel like we hear a lot of horror stories out of Hollywood and stuff and I
yeah.
don't like to jump to the conclusion that it's all so bad.
Mhm.
Like so I mean there was probably some good times you had doing the show and but is there anything that kind of lingers still nowadays that you kind of like look back on you're like that was like not okay or I shouldn't have been worked that much or just wasn't great environment or did it was it great? Was it wonderful? Like, was the show was Dan
No.
Schneider great?
No, it was not. There is a mixture.
Mhm.
There is this. It's kind of like going to school in the same
Yeah.
way, where you're like, with a group of people your age or around your age, and you're having to go to class and do like the serious stuff, but then you can also have fun around that. I imagine that's kind of. I was homeschooled for most of my life, but
Uh-huh.
being on set when I hear friends who went to school, it's kind of a similar dynamic where it's like, once you're doing your lines or filming, you're serious, and then you're able to like play around in the in between. So there were still little pockets to be a kid, or to be young and socialize. But oh god, it's such like I feel like we need like 5 more hours about that, but
Yeah.
it was a mixture.
It's
Yeah.
crazy that like what matters in here is like that type of like shit that we've talked about today. And it's just like you're in such a different headspace, and I think everyone can tell. And that's why I really wanted to like make sure you had an opportunity to like whether you wanted to talk or not, I was going to talk about what you posted and stuff because we've got this pushed everywhere,
I went
and
so far. Sorry.
and you don't deserve to have like them have a rewrite history. And also I also like you were hurt obviously by your mom being brought up. I'm hurt for you for your mom being brought up. Like I like you have like when you're an entertainer or influencer or whatever you are, it's like you have a choice to do that. And like your mom like did everything she was supposed to by supporting you and being there as like a kid. It's like she doesn't deserve that. It's like nobody, why is she bringing your family into it? It just makes it like 10 times worse in my opinion, and even gives you more reason to go and like say and speak your truth, because it's kind of like a
Right.
F you for bringing my mom into this.
Totally. It's like, and just first of all, like, go talk and communicate with people, like
Mhm.
just go. And you could have called me, you could have texted me, you could have called my mom up. Instead, it's, and obviously for me personally, when I came out about my story, I was slated. I was never involved. I felt that was my only way of finally being able to speak out. I know I did it publicly in that way, but I had literally no other choice because I've
Mhm.
tried multiple times to fix this and it was not fixable. But for her, it's like we're on good terms now, good terms,
Yeah.
and you're making amends. And you now have the opportunity to speak to me personally and respect my privacy as well and deal with it, one on one. But
Mhm.
that's not mature. That's not
Yeah.
mature. It's not good at communicating. It's manipulative. It's like, why do that?
And it's
I,
yeah, and this is like a sellout opportunity right here. It's like this is a big money grab, especially during the height of the Free Britney movement, where they've got more attention than ever before, and it's just
like, wait a few years.
I know I
Like,
said that in one of my videos. I was like, wait 5 years from this and then give it to us. But like
yeah,
this
like
is just,
whatever.
uh, and it's
It's
poorly
like,
done, honestly.
is there photos in
There are photos, isn't that weird?
there? I was like, wait, I didn't. There are
It's like
photos.
there's like a lot of pictures. I don't think she put you in there. I'm sorry, but
Oh
just kidding.
man, shucks. I was
She
hoping
probably
there was a little photo of
she gonna
me.
draw some devil horns on you or something.
So
Oh
crazy.
no.
Maybe like evil eyes, like
Yeah, like she would have scratched out your face in the Zoe 101 picture. Mean
that
girl
would be.
energy.
That's totally Mean Girl. I wouldn't have been surprised. It's just
Yeah.
such a bummer. I was actually kind of, I was on the fence, like, okay, like unfollowing her and kind of just trusting, because I've been in a situation where I've had to speak out, about things in my life, and I knew I was telling the truth, and I knew I just wanted to be heard and also help others that are in similar situations. So I really, that really resonated with me when Brittany spoke out, and it was a hard thing for me to do, to unfollow Jamie, because I was a little bit
Yeah.
like, I'm making a judgment call here, and I
Mhm.
have to be careful, like really assess this as much as I can. I tried, and I just couldn't not unfollow. It was like,
Yeah, you're like, I need to.
I just need to. I tried to
Mhm.
even hold on a little bit. You can ask my husband, and I was like, I can't do it. And now I'm glad that
Yeah.
I know that I knew that I now know that I was right, because she lied
Yep.
about me too. And it's
And the
like,
world is just on your side too, which is ultimately a good feeling when you have someone who's like got this platform pushing this stuff, and like everyone else
yes,
is kind of like we see right through it. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
So
No, that's been very nice to see all the support. That was the best part. I was like, wow, I didn't think that was gonna. Instagram's
I saw a
weird.
few articles written too. Like
There are
just like I
articles written.
yeah, I don't know, I looked up and I saw a few like just people writing articles. So
Well,
it's
that's gonna
news.
be probably just like stirring the pot, and now
Uh
all of a sudden. But I'm happy that I spoke up for myself. Just
I'm happy for you too.
do it. I had to do it, and I
Yeah.
also wanted to speak with you because you're great.
Oh.
Um, and also, I've been silent for so many years about so many things. Like, it's crazy that
Mhm.
now I've made it kind of. Um, a new personality trait of mine. It's like when I'm scared to talk, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I gotta do it because it's important to do. I want to teach that to my daughter so badly. You have no idea, because there's been so many times where I've been so afraid of other people, and never worked in my favor. I can't find a time that worked in my favor. So now I'm taking the
Yeah.
risk. Dun, 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 dun. Like I just gotta say what I need to say, and that's it. And then I'll leave everybody alone.
I'm sure she's gonna learn a lot of great lessons from you.
I hope so. And
I
maybe some.
think so. Well,
I
you're
hope
also
so.
I don't know, even though it's like you've gone through so much and stuff, there is like a fearless aspect to you, and it's very inspiring. And I think like just even I know it's scary to speak out, but when you do it, it's just like it's a lot, but just the world really receives it. And just from this to other things you've done as well, I think it's like an amazing impact. So you should be proud of that.
That was so sweet of you.
Oh,
You're making me cry.
no, it makes me emotional too. Also, because I just don't. I mean, we've already
So
like you've gone through so much, so it's just like that's a lot. And like I don't know, you like shouldn't be underrated for any of that. It's also meaningful to a lot of people. So,
so sweet of you to say.
oh well,
That's
I really.
really sweet of you to say.
Oh
It
my god,
means
you're
a
making me
lot.
cry too. I cry when I see people cry.
Don't cry. Do
Mhm.
not cry. I don't even cry that often. I'm like, I don't really cry.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like I mean, this is a good talk that we're doing this and everything too, but it's still like it's annoying that like it has like I don't know, you just have to go. I know how it feels to have something like crappy happen in
Yeah,
this industry and stuff, and it's like it ruins your day, it ruins your next few days. And it's just like
it does.
you don't deserve that. And it's like this is just uncalled for. And I think you're handling it beautifully though. And I don't know if she'll see this, but I think that she probably will, and she's gonna
Oh,
like people are gonna listen to what you have to say, and that's what people are gonna remember. And that's honestly what I want, and that's what's important here is that they know that you weren't this, rumor spreading,
I wasn't.
bully whenever
Yeah.
in reality it was quite the opposite.
It was the opposite. And I honestly, I would be the first person to, if I did something shitty, I did something not so nice, I will sit here and own it 100%. But that's just not
Yeah.
how it happened.
And you guys were also like 12. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you did like, if you even said, like,
I was stupid, anyways.
it's just, yeah, like you're literally children. But obviously, you can see that she's still a child, and this memoir honestly reflects that. So,
I really want her to just pull it together.
yeah,
It's like I'm
I think
like
it's too
still
late at this point.
like,
Yeah, I know.
that's like scary. I'm like, oh my god, that terrifies me to even
Well,
about.
hopefully, she sells a lot of books, huh? Well, it leaks, so
Wish
it's
that you
not a
were
good look. They're probably
sister and
scrambling.
God,
Yeah.
it's like what so bad. It makes me nervous. Like, when someone's doing something you're watching, you're like, you almost feel like it's happening to you or something.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Just stop doing
I'm nervous for her too. Like when they showed up at my door, I was like, "Wow, like your own team's working against you at this point." Like,
that.
you
Totally.
guys sent me the book early, so it's
What?
like
What's
they.
going on?
I'm like, whatever. I guess any press at this point is good
That's where
press
I
for
think that's
her.
where she's at. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it seems like. 'Cause it's like you obviously don't care what's it's bizarre. I would be
Hmm.
freaking out
Yeah.
personally. Like after seeing what her sister said today too, like I'm just so proud of her too. Like for me,
Yeah.
she's an inspiration because
Yeah.
when I see her just finally being able to just and I know that feeling when you get like when you really realize what you can use your Instagram account for, like it's almost like an open diary sometimes.
Yeah.
Ooh, you get to like feel like you let something go through finding the language around your experience, and like it self
Yeah.
validates you. You're like, this is what happens to me. This is how I'm feeling. And then here I'm sharing it with the world.
Exactly.
Powerful. It is a very good feeling. I know she's feeling that. And
Yeah.
I'm happy for her.
It's nice to take your thoughts, like put them into like a valid statement, and then just send that off and kind of be, and then get the same like validation from other people, like
Correct.
exactly, and they all agree. And I think that this is going to be
Relay.
the same kind of thing here as well. It's like people are going to see this and then be like, wow, you know what? It makes sense. And
Right. And
Jamie
then
Lynn's
you
not going
have
to have
this
the
nice
last word.
dialogue. It's like it creates a community because I feel like the more, there's obviously a time and place for what you share, et cetera. I do
Hmm.
that. But when you feel like, it needs to happen, like you got to just, especially when you've been silenced, like her, like being in that situation for as many years as she was, I can't I just bow.
Yeah,
Because to even
exactly.
be able to do what she's doing, I would probably be like,
Already, yeah, tapped
I
out.
I would be tapped out, and she's just she knows and she's there, and I don't know. It's power. I like to watch that because like,
Me
when you see
too.
a woman like that, you're like, you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Yeah, you're just like,
Exactly.
hell yeah. I'm like, good for you. Good for you. You can't not
Cool.
support it. It's contagious.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's exciting too, and it's also like it's nice to see like she doesn't like just bend over and take it.
No.
She's gonna call her out.
Yeah. It was like, and that's how it should be. It's like, what did you think she wasn't, or I'm not, or we don't have voices? Like, who are you? Like,
Hmm.
you can't just write my life. Like, you
Exactly. You can't write my life, Jamie Lynn.
can't write my life, Jamie. Like, just put me in quotations with that. You cannot write my life.
Yeah.
For real, you can't. It's like you don't no, you don't have the right to do that. It's funny that it's cute that you think you do, but
Yeah,
you
but
don't.
not this time.
Not this time.
Oh, well, thank you so much for speaking with me, Alexa. I'm not going to hit end yet, but we're just going to close out here and just
Okay.
thank you again so much. And you're such an inspiration and just
Thank
such
you.
a genuine person. You can tell that, and it's very refreshing. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you just for everything. I loved talking to you.
Yes, and guys, make sure you go and check out Alexa's YouTube channel below. Go and check out her project she dropped earlier or in June of last
Oh,
year, I believe. Yeah, definitely go and check it out and go and show some
that's
support. And I'll list her Instagram and everything below.
thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. I didn't expect you to do that. I'm like blushing now.
No, yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope we talk again one day.
Yes, me too.